are back with our September Bachelor of the Month, Donte Hall, aka Don't Hate Tay. I love how that rhymes.
Don't hate
Tay.
Tay.
Say it all the time. Donte Hall, aka Don't Hate Tay.
He loves it.
Right. But you know, I like rhyme so naturally, and then when I hear myself rhyme, I'm like, oh, I rhymed.
Right.
Yeah, everybody's like, yeah, you did.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, you did, loser.
Yeah, good for you.
Anyway, so before we went to the break, Donte was gonna tell us. Tay was gonna tell us.
Oh,
what is it? That's what your family
yeah,
calls
they call me
Tay.
Tay. They make me feel so little.
What is it? Speaking of little, what's like 22? Your age, 22 in 2015.
Mm-hmm.
What's it dating like? You made a comment earlier about, you know, dudes my age, 22, they ain't trying to do blah blah blah.
Mm-mm.
What aren't they trying to do? And are you trying to do it?
Okay, like my mindset right now, because I grew up in Florida, so I have like such a strong family background.
Mm-hmm.
You know, school was really important to me. My family, we was tight knit, so everything, like to me, people are brought up different. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I met a lot of 22-year-olds that's just like, you know, not on the same. I'm not gonna say the same level, but like not smart as I am, or they don't like communicate as well as I do,
right?
Or they don't like, especially in relationships, they aren't on the same level as I am. So it's different.
Do you feel like it's a level? When you say level, it's like a level of maturity. Do you feel like you're older?
Yeah, I feel like I'm really older.
A lot of people, and I think I used to say, I would say the same thing when I was in my 20s. That I felt like I was older, and I think that is something maybe a lot of 20s say, because it's like the 20s have this, you know, reputation of being, you know, immature and and all over the place. Yeah. So it's like nobody wants to act like a 20-year-old.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, so it's like I'm more mature than that.
Well, I think you, to some degree, those statements are true when you look at the 22-year-olds around you and you don't necessarily relate to their behaviors. You're like, that's such a childish behavior. Like, and although you may at times exhibit that behavior, because obviously we all go through some things, you see yourself as different. So I think that self-perception is valid.
I don't think it's invalid. I just think that many of 22-year-olds feel that way.
That's very true.
And it could be like when I first met Juan, because Juan and I are 5 years difference, and Juan was 26 when I first met him, and I had already gotten to my 30s, and I had always said I would never date anybody in their mid-20s like that, because I knew where I was, blah blah blah.
Right.
When I met Juan,
he was just so mature. He was just so old for his age.
that's what I was going to say. I felt like he was, and I got, you know, he's a lot more mature for his age as far as like, you know, his passion for life and those type of things and his level of responsibility. But then I always feel like, but at the end of the day, you're still the age that you are. You can only have so many experiences.
That is very true.
You know, especially when it comes to relationships.
So that being said, you in your 22 years, you have a certain level of experiences. Do you look for other men in that same realm, that same age, same level of experiences, or are you more older?
I would like to. I mean, I would like to find a dude. You know, I'm not, you know, casting away an age preference. You know what I'm saying? But I do like to see dudes that's like my age. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's seen the things that I've seen my mom go through. I have two older brothers. You know, one went to the army. He left me early. And the other one went to jail. So I saw a lot going on, and I didn't want my life to end up like that. So I like to see guys that go through things, you know what I'm saying? Not necessarily hardships, but that has experienced life, kind of. But a lot of guys at 22 haven't. They've just kind of been, you know, taking care of their mom. Right. They haven't had responsibilities. I have a little sister. My mom used to work at TPD overnight, so I had to babysit. So I have a lot of responsibility and a lot of maturity over other 22-year-olds.
You just said something that I would love for you to expound upon, if you will. You said when your brother went to the army, you said he left me early.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
He left me in elementary school like that. I was going through so much in elementary school, and like I was closest to, I ain't gonna say I'm sorry, other brother. But I was kind of like, he was my oldest brother, so I really looked up to him because he was like a teenager while I was like a fifth grade.
He was obviously, what, 18 when he left?
Yeah, he was 18, he went to the army, and I was just like graduating from like elementary school to middle school. I was doing this big transition, and my other brother, like I said, he got locked up, so he was in and out of juvie. So he was kind of like my, you know, my confidant. Like, I'll talk to you about everything, what I'm going through. He was like my big brother, you know, like literally. But when he left, it kind of like left me like high and dry.
So is that like you feel almost abandoned by him? Maybe?
I did, like I really did. I felt really like messed up.
How did you deal with that?
I started smoking weed.
In high school?
Yeah, no, I smoked weed from middle school, like literally 7th grade to today. I've been smoking weed, yeah.
I was gonna say, so is your father? Did you grow up with your father?
It was my mom.
So your older brother was kind of like that male figure.
Oh yeah.
So when he left, was you left with like no one?
Yeah, I mean family members, but we were the only people in Tallahassee. Like my family, we all dispersed in Florida. It's like Tampa, Orlando, Miami, but Jacksonville.
So you didn't really have like a main male figure.
My mom dated, but
how do you feel like that plays in your dating? Do you feel like, are there any things that you struggle with when it comes to men, from feeling abandoned by your brother or not having a male around for those adolescent years? Like, do you feel like that plays a part, or do you feel like there's anything there?
You mean as far as like abandonment?
Like, yeah, like are there any fears that you may have in meeting someone? Like if you, like sometimes or typically if male experiences abandonment from other males, then they kind of carry that fear with them when they go into a dating relationship. Like they feel like, abandonment issues. Like they feel like they fear leaving. So sometimes they can close themselves up.
I don't get attached. I hate getting like attached too early because I have in the past, like with my brother and like my 2 other boyfriends, I tried to do it with, you get your feelings involved and then it's like boom, somebody else is here or something else happens or something comes up and they're leaving you. So I don't really like to get too attached. That's why I said like day 4, let's kind of see where this is gonna go, because I'm not sure. I could, I'll be like, oh, I love you on the first day, because if I feel it, I'm gonna put it like this hard front, that's me.
So do you feel like you've ever been completely vulnerable or completely unguarded in a relationship? You have.
How do you know? Like, what did you do that let you know that
because my feelings are hurt. Like, you'll do something so small and it'll just like send my whole being, like my body starts to do awkward stuff, like I can't even control, like my facial expression says it all. And I know like somebody has control over you, you have feelings for them because of the actions that they do.
And what type of emotion or label do you attach to that feeling?
I guess you would have to say, I wouldn't say vulnerable, I would say like, I don't know. That's a good question.
Is it,
because I asked that question because the words that we attach to certain emotions and feelings really indicate how we truly feel about feeling that way. Like I the same way growing up, and I feel powerless.
Yeah.
And so I never wanted to feel
needy.
Powerless.
I feel needy.
Yeah. And it's so always the negative words that we associate with that because it's attached to a negative feeling. So I was just curious to know how you describe that space.
I feel needy.
And you don't like to feel that.
I don't like to feel
that. I hate to feel that way too.
Because you don't want to feel like I need you.
Especially not more than you need me.
Right.
Like it has to be like
mutual. Right. It needs to be mutual. Like we need each other. Like I don't like that feeling of feeling like I need to tell you like I need this to be done. I need this to be done. Because then I'm like asking for all this. Like you need too much. You know what I'm saying?
Do you think that relationships are ever 50-50?
Relationships can be 50-50.
How so?
Because you can date somebody that's putting in as just as much as you are, or equally. I feel like that is.
Can I tell you that that's not true?
That's not true?
And I will.
Even with y'all?
No, it's not. And I will say sometimes, everybody goes, you have to realize that everybody has an individual path. You got your path, they got their path. He has his path, I have my path. And we build this life together. But along my path, there are highs and lows. Along his path, there are highs and lows. So sometimes I might be able to give 100% of myself, but tomorrow, in other areas, I'm feeling weak on my path, and I'm only able to give 75% or 50%. But he may be high and kind of. So there should be a up and flow like this, but there will never be 50-50-50. If you look for that, then you kind of set yourself up for failure, because sometimes you have to step up for your partner. Sometimes you have to realize, like, come on now, maybe you're not working to your full potential in this relationship, and call them out on it, or realize that they are going through something personally in their life, and almost give them a pass for not being able to be there for you emotionally completely at that particular time. But it's always a this.
Yeah, I firmly believe that in whatever it is, whether it's in expressing love, in cleaning up the house, in communication, in any level, between two people, someone's going to be at 75, someone's going to be at 50, someone's going to be at 80, someone's going to be at 30. In every area of your life. It's about all of those areas for me balancing out, you know, and knowing that, well, I may be all up on, because I'm more affectionate and loving and doting and all in his face. He's not, so I'm more 90% that he's more 50. Right. You know, but just realizing that other ways, he's 90, I'm 50.
Right.
And so it always, for me, that's the balance.
And then if you look at it too this way, then we'll take a break right after this to wrap up the interview. But if you look at it this way, if you both are bringing the same things to the table, how are you going to bring each other up? You know what I'm saying? Like, how is he going to help upgrade you if y'all both bring the same shit to the table? How you going to upgrade each other? So it's, and as long as you have those certain areas where you have to be with somebody that is going to be able to help you grow. But I always, and the message I'm trying to get out is, don't just automatically, if a person is not completely bringing everything to the table that you're bringing, don't completely knock that person out, because they can communicate better than you can help you with that. Right. Help you with abandonment issues. Yeah. Right. You know, so that makes perfect sense. On that note, we're going to be right back, and we're going to wrap up this interview with Donte. All right, so we'll see you in just a minute.
That was good.
That was.
Oh my goodness, y'all better tap. Oh, come on over. Y'all better tap me.
We may not always agree on everything,
but we can all agree on the importance of looking out for our families and friends.
And standing together in the fight against HIV. Everyone should get tested for HIV at least once as part of routine health care.
Gay and bisexual men may benefit from more frequent HIV testing and should consider getting tested every 3 to 6 months.
Knowing your status and taking whatever next steps it requires makes you and our community
stronger. HIV testing is free. Visit gettested.cdc.gov/stronger.
He was having company.
Bow, bow.
So I was looking for a movie.
I just don't know which one.
To pick, like, it's such a hard decision
to
pick out of all these movies. Which one should I watch, girl?
You want her?